But I'm gonna do 2 demos right now, these pan sauces we're working with, and I'm gonna walk you through the process of what we're doing. So I'm gonna do, first of all, I'll do chicken piccata, all right? And someone was asking like, oh, what kind of pan should I grab for this? You don't wanna get a pan that's too big. You want one that's gonna fit your protein, but not be too large. The larger your pan is, remember the larger your pan is, right? Your oil on the edges might start burning and browning because this whole pan's gonna heat up on this burner, even the outside edges. So if that stuff starts getting burned, then your sauce you're making that pan is also gonna be burned. That's gonna be a problem, okay? So I got the pan going. I got a little bit of oil in here. How much oil do you wanna use? That's the biggest lie of any recipe is like, oh, use 2 tablespoons of oil, but no. Every chef's gonna tell you to add enough on there where like your food won't stick, okay? And oil is gonna be, it's thicker when it's cooler, and it thins out when it gets hot, okay? So right now, my pan's getting warm. Don't just touch your pan, okay, like I just did, right? My pan's getting warm, so this oil actually looks thinner, okay? I can also smell it. It gives off a smell when it heats up. Hot oil has a very distinct smell. If you guys are using olive oil, even though I said don't saute with extra virgin olive oil, you will start smelling hot olives, which sometimes is good. Some of the faces y'all are making mean it's not that good, right? You gotta watch out with that. Now, again, remember, these burners are not on-off switches. They are control knobs. You can control the heat up or down as you wanna go. Now, this is a dry heat cooking process. We wanna make sure we have no moisture. We wanna have browning going on in this thing. One of the ways you do that, you wanna make sure that your food is dry. You can take your food and pat it dry with paper towels or a kitchen towel or whatever, but you wanna make sure it's dry. Some folks will end up using flour. I'll use that in the next video, the next item. So, we're gonna season it. Always season your food, okay? Front and back, coming over here. So this pan's starting to get warm. I'm gonna put my food down. I'm gonna lay it down away from me. All right. It's gonna get a good sear. I'm gonna control my heat a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna go. Now again, my left hand, my dirty hand, I use my dirty glove. I'm gonna put it in there. I'm gonna get rid of it off my station or in my trash can, whatever it is. That way I know I'm not gonna cross-contaminate anything else, okay? So what I'm trying to do, I'm gonna get this thing cooked all the way through. Now this is gonna be chicken. If you put chicken breast in a pan and you just let it kind of go, it might take you a long time to cook it. What I did first is I put plastic wrap over it and I pounded it out so it's an even thickness, a little bit thinner. That's how you go a lot faster. If you're working in a restaurant with like a big airline chicken breast or maybe a steak or something like that, you're probably gonna sear it and then finish it off in the oven and then pull it out and make a pan sauce, the same process, okay? So again, I'm letting this thing do its thing. Just kind of cook. I'm not moving it too much. Just like we talk about grilling, we're not moving it too much. We're letting it kind of get that sear. It's gonna tell me kind of when it's ready to go. I'm using the spatula again. I'm using a Peltex or a fish spatula. It's a real thin wire, okay? I'm gonna come underneath it. Now this thing is able to get right on it. Woo, flame. I mentioned that in class, right? That if you end up getting that oil exposed to the flame, it will catch on fire. Same thing happened. So I'll probably turn my temperature down a little bit more, not off all the way. But if you look at this, you got good browning, even browning, not burning around this, okay? We got seasoning on there. Now you can then, this is chicken, we only got 165, okay? You wanna make sure you can kind of temp it out. You use a thermometer. You can use a touch test for chicken, pinky and thumb, press that muscle. You get a firm one. That's a good one to go with right here. It's a small piece. If you put a thermometer straight in there, you might touch the bottom of the pan, and that'll read the pan temperature, not chicken temperature. You have to say, oh, chicken's 200 degrees, pull it off. Nah, chicken might not be 200 degrees, you know? So now, what you're also seeing at the bottom of this pan is a lot of browning. Brown bits of stuff. This is that Maillard reaction happening, not on the outside of the chicken, but also in this pan. That is, the French call it the fond. It's gonna be protein bits that are caramelized in that pan. That's the good stuff, okay? We wanna get that off the bottom of the pan, that's flavor. It's kind of why we're making this in this pan, is we're trying to get the flavors from this chicken. Even as this thing cooks, the muscles are squeezing. We mentioned the other day, like they coagulate, right? Someone said they're squeezy, protein squeezy when they get cooked, right? It squeezes liquid out. That liquid in this pan, that liquid as it's evaporating is gonna cause more browning. That's still more flavor being built up. It's more browning of those amino acids in that liquid in this pan. So this is all the good stuff. All right, so this is doing its thing. Gonna put it on a plate. Gonna kind of keep it warm. Now I'm gonna use, again, all this in here. We're making piccata right now. So if you need more oil, you can add a little more oil to this pan. Add it off the heat, okay? I'm gonna add a little squeeze more. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually kind of start sauteing with some garlic. And I'm still keeping up the heat because when I hit that garlic in there, it's gonna start sizzling. That's that saute, that's that jump, right? I've had the pan so hot before when you add your oil and your garlic, they start browning almost immediately. So, sauteing, got some color now on my garlic. I'm bringing it back over here. Everything's in a squirt bottle. I'm gonna add wine. That's gonna deglaze. It's gonna actually pick up the stuff at the bottom of the pan. Look at that. Looking really good. That's gonna evaporate a little bit. As this heats up, it's gonna kind of simmer, cook out most of the booze. Not all the booze, but most of it. We're gonna end up adding a little bit of stock. Okay? We're gonna add some tomatoes. Some folks add tomatoes and capers first. That'll also add liquid to the pan that will stop the cooking process. But once you've got liquid in this pan, it's gonna stop cooking. Stop browning, I'm sorry, stop browning. Not stop cooking, stop browning. It'll still release that garlic, even though it had brown on the outside of it, will still soften as it's simmering and cooking now. This is gonna kind of let everything kind of meld together, build more flavor. I'm gonna let it reduce down. Everything right now, just like we did in soup class, we had a lot of stuff that was like, as it cooked, the flavors developed more and more and more. We're doing the same thing here. All right, we don't want to put it in there and then sell it, put it on a plate. Not great. What we're also doing, as this is reducing down, that stock, the collagen in that stock is reducing, right? It's gonna make it thicker. We talked about that a little bit with our sauces class. So it's doing its thing right there. I'm waiting for it to get about half, reduction by half, okay? Piccata's gonna have a little bit of lemon in there. So I'll take a lemon. I will sometimes throw like the entire wedge in there just for the looks. Why not? It's kind of fun. Adds flavor. I like doing that. Kind of gives that bright yellow that's going to come off with the sauce. It's going to give a little bit more of a contrast, which is kind of fun. Now I'm not checking seasoning yet. I'm not done with this thing yet. Also, the capers in there are really, really salty. Okay. We've also got the seasoning from chicken breast. So I'm not worried about adding stuff there now. And that lemon's going to add acid. It should be pretty good rounded flavors, but I'll taste it before I end up plating it and adjust seasoning then. All right. Now, this is kind of reduced down. I'm going to turn the heat off. It's mostly reduced, and I'm going to add some butter. And when I add this butter is like my service animal, dude. This is my emotional support animal. Okay. And I don't mean to say that like picking on somebody else, but I feel better when I got a good pound of butter diced up in my station. I can add things to it. And I'm just going to slowly start swirling it off the heat. If I put it on the heat and add the butter to this, what's going to happen is that butter is going to like separate immediately. We'll start clarifying, okay? Adding it now and slowly stirring. You can use a spatula, you can use a whisk, you know. Most people would sit there and start swirling the pan. See how creamy that looks now? And that's awesome. That's a wonderful, wonderful pan sauce right there. I've got a tasting spoon. Don't put your fingers in the food, please. Pretty good. You're gonna need some pepper, for sure. A little pepper in there. Okay. Now, if it tastes too salty, or tastes too acidic, or it tastes too like boozy, or if it tastes too salty even, adding more butter is going to kind of make those go away. All right, you're adding volume to this, which is when it's going to cause it to balance out the flavors a little bit. Plus that fat is going to help out. And then as far as plating goes, well, let's see. Some of those put parsley like in the sauce. Parsley has flavor. It's absolutely amazing. It's got, great flavor, right? You get up putting this over it, right there. If you're taking too long, you shouldn't take too long. It's really a quick dish. That chicken's still gonna be warm. If you did take a long time, you actually put this chicken back in the sauce and kind of rewarm it on your station if you wanted to. I tend to like it just that more clean look, not having the sauce all the way over it. I did pour the sauce kind of across it like this. I don't want to cover my entire chicken because you spent time making that good color. Like, why hide it? If you mess up your grill marks, you tear a piece of it off in the pan, cover the whole thing, hide it up. Okay, hide it. You know, got a good sauce, hide them up through the sin.